She could still hear the echo of his footsteps fading down the aisle, each one sounding louder than the last, until there was nothing but silence. The veil trembled in her hands, her heart pounding in disbelief as her groom turned his back and walked away mid-vows. The guests gasped, the music stopped, and time itself seemed to hold its breath. Nobody could have imagined what would happen next, when the quiet countryside wedding turned into a scene straight out of a movie. 1,000 Navy SEALs and a convoy of 100 black SUVs storming the ceremony, surrounding the church like a battlefield. And at the center of it all, the woman left standing in white, a bride with a past no one saw coming. The day had started with laughter, soft light spilling across lace curtains as Emma adjusted her dress in front of the mirror. She had always dreamed of this day, not for the glamour, but for the promise of peace. After years of serving as a field medic in conflict zones, this was supposed to be her new beginning, the life she'd fought to earn. Her fiancé, Ryan, was charming, successful, and everything her family wanted for her, or so she thought. She ignored the way he'd been distant lately, the quick glances at his phone, the moments when his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. She had told herself love was enough, but standing there at the altar, staring into his hesitation, she felt something cold settle in her chest. When the priest asked if he would take her hand in marriage, Ryan's lips parted, but no words came. Then, without warning, he shook his head, whispered something she couldn't hear, and walked away. The guests murmured, confusion rising like a wave. Emma's world blurred. She could barely breathe, her bouquet slipping from her trembling fingers. That's when the rumble began, low, deep, and growing louder. People turned toward the horizon, shielding their eyes from the sun as dust rose in the distance. Within seconds, black SUVs appeared, forming a tight formation, engines roaring. The air crackled with tension. Doors opened in perfect unison, and out stepped men in black tactical gear, boots striking the ground in sync. The insignia on their uniforms gleamed under the sunlight. U.S. Navy SEALs. The crowd screamed. Panic spread. But not Emma, she didn't move. A tall man in front, wearing no helmet, his presence commanding silence, walked straight up the aisle toward her. His voice was calm, deep and steady. "Lieutenant Emma Carter?" The name froze her in place. It had been years since anyone called her by her rank. Before she could answer, the man continued. "Ma'am, we've been ordered to extract you immediately. You're requested by presidential command." Her mind spun. "There must be some mistake," she whispered. "I'm not—" But he cut her off, holding up a small tablet displaying a video feed. The president's face appeared live. "Emma Carter," he said firmly, "this country owes you a debt that can never be repaid. We just received intel. The man who walked out on you isn't who you think he is." The world seemed to tilt. Emma's breath caught. Around her, guests were frozen. Cell phones raised, mouths open, unable to process what they were seeing. "Ryan," she murmured, her heart breaking and twisting at once. "What did you do?" The commander gestured, and 2 SEALs handed her a secure folder. Inside were photos, surveillance images of Ryan meeting with a foreign operative, timestamps from the previous night. "He was using you," the commander said quietly. "Your record, your access. But you saved us. He slipped and you never even knew." Tears blurred her vision, but she straightened her back, wiping her face. The hurt was real, but so was something deeper, the same steel that had carried her through war zones and loss. "What do you need me to do?" she asked. The commander gave a half-smile. "Ma'am, the mission's already done. This is your extraction, your protection." The SUVs surrounded her as she walked down the aisle, her dress trailing through petals and dust. The guests watched in awe, no longer seeing a jilted bride, but a soldier walking back into destiny. The heartbreak didn't disappear, but it became something else. Power. Purpose. A reminder that sometimes what breaks you only clears the path to what you're truly meant for. Hours later, as the sun dipped below the hills, Emma sat inside one of the SUVs, the convoy moving through the countryside. Her hands were clasped tightly around the locket she'd worn. Inside it, a picture of her team, the ones she'd lost overseas. A soft knock on the window pulled her from her thoughts. It was the commander again. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded faintly. "I will be," he smiled. "You know, when word got out that you were alive, half the SEALs volunteered to come get you. You've got more brothers than you think." Her eyes softened. "Maybe that's what family really means," she said quietly. As the convoy disappeared into the horizon, the camera would linger on the empty church. The petals scattered, the silence heavy but sacred. Her story wasn't about being left at the altar anymore. It was about being found by the truth, by her strength, by the people who never forgot what she'd done for them. Because sometimes when the world walks away from you, destiny storms in.